What's up everyone, China Cycling here today, and today we're talking smart helmets. I've got the EVO21 from Livall. It's got full 360 degrees of lights and some SOS features, so let's take a look. Now, I know safety isn't cool, it's not glamorous, it's not glitzy, but trust me, you'll be thankful you have it when you have it. As regular viewers will know, I had a traffic accident about 18 months ago. A truck literally parked on my foot, and the carbon sole of my Cities protected my foot and stopped it blasting into a million pieces. So safety equipment, definitely important. Now, I'm sure most of you come here for the aero stuff, the light stuff, the competitive stuff, but I'm also sure lots of you commute to work by bike too. In my opinion, commuting to work by bike, that section of travel is so much more dangerous than riding in the mountains with your friends at the weekend. You know, everyone's going through rush hour traffic, all the tossers are playing on the phone as they drive, and it's just hell. Furthermore, you ride in the same route every day, so your brain just switches off. Also, it's super early in the morning, you've not woken up yet, or you've just had 8 hours in a cubicle and your brain is just mush. So that your reaction time's slower, everything's slower, and you're just a lot more likely to have an accident. So I think it totally makes sense to take a different approach with your commuting tech and put away the aero stuff and focus more on safety. So what makes this helmet safer than the regular helmets you ride at the weekend with your mates? Well, the obvious one is the lights. I really do think these lights help with visibility. They're just the pure size of them, and it's at the eye line of other drivers, yeah? So small lights blinking on your bike. If you're close to a car, it's too low and they can't see it. But lights on your helmet, it's at the eye height of all drivers. Furthermore, the design of this helmet, the lights wrap all the way around the helmet, so it's visible from 360 degrees. Sometimes the lights on my bike, you know, if the angle's just right, it's obstructed by this, or if the angle's over here, it's obstructed by that. So having a light that's visible 360 degrees, I think is a good idea. Also white at the front, so you know, coming towards you, and then red at the back, so you know it's going away from you. So yeah, I think the lights are definitely a big plus for riding at night. There are a few different modes for it to flash, which can be controlled by the app itself or just pressing a button here on the helmet. So yeah, different flashing modes to choose from. You can also use an accompanying remote on your handlebar to do turn signals or through the app itself. And there's also a built-in brake light, but more on that later. Now, if you're thinking that all sounds great, but who the hell are Livall anyway? Good question. So Livall are from Shenzhen here in China. Shenzhen is kind of like the Silicon Valley of China. It's where DJI are from and all the other Chinese tech companies. They're probably classed as innovators in the smart helmet field. They have over 170 different patents and have been making helmets for 7 years now. So yeah, they're not new to this rodeo. They've won various design awards at the CES shows and the IF design awards. Yeah, this is the EVO21, and it's yeah, the latest and greatest. So another great function of this helmet is definitely the SOS function. So with the accompanying app, you can input contact details of your loved ones, and then when the sensors in the helmet detect an accident, they will send a message to your loved ones along with a location of where you are. Now, when I had my traffic accident 18 months ago, so my foot was ran over by a truck, and even though I remained conscious, the combination of the pain and the adrenaline just had me just lying on the tarmac. I knew I should phone my wife and tell her what was up, but I was just in this weird state of just not wanting to move and just focusing on trying to like block out the pain. I also remember the cold tarmac, feeling very comfortable and just wanting to take a sleep. So if I had this back then, this would have done wonders, you know. It would have sent a message to my wife, let her know something had happened, and she'd be able to call me to see what's up, instead of me just lying there trying to think about who I am or what the hell I'm doing. Oh, and so you don't have to worry about false positives either. When it detects a crash, the app will come up with a 90-second countdown, and if in that 90 seconds you press the button to say, no, I'm okay, then it won't send the message, obviously. So in my situation, you know, I'd have been lying there, the 90 seconds would have counted down, and it would have just sent the message with their location. But, you know, if you do, I've not had any false positives myself while riding, but you know, if you did have an accident or you fell off your bike but you were okay, then yeah, you got 90 seconds to figure out you're okay and just press the button to stop the SOS being sent and worrying your loved ones. As for false negatives, Livall says it's set up to detect any falls from 1.2 meters and above, which should cover most things. I did some tests just dropping it on my bed and dropping it on my sofa, and every fall it detected no problems. I'm assuming there's just some accelerometers in there which detect how long it's falling for, and then the rapid deceleration when you hit something. Now, about the brake light on the back, I assume it's doing a similar sort of thing, using accelerometers to figure out when you're braking and whatnot. But in my experience, it was a bit hit and miss. So when it did work, it was a bit slow to react, and sometimes it just wouldn't detect my braking at all. However, suddenly, if you quickly look down to look at your GPS, then it'll detect that as braking, and the brake light will come on. So, you know, if you look here, just picking it up made the brake light go on. But you know, you're riding along, you look at your GPS and then look back up. Okay, so it didn't do it that time. But yeah, sometimes you look down at your you look down at your GPS and the brake light comes on. So ordinarily it's designed that, you know, you come to a stop, so yeah, the brake light, I think, you know, it's just a limitation of the technology. They don't know exactly if you're stopping or if you're just looking down. It can just detect the movements because there's no speed sensor or there's no GPS or anything like that. In theory, I guess they could connect it to an ANT speed sensor and use the data from that. Who knows what's coming in the future. But so to me, the brake light or the lack of brake light isn't really make or break, because I don't think drivers are expecting a brake light to be on your head anyway, so they'll just think it's just some random different flashing. So just having it on flashing all the time, whether it's the brake light or whether it's the normal flashing, I think it serves the same purpose. So yeah, the brake light, just, you know, prepare your expectations. I don't think it'll work as well as you think. Now, speaking of the lights, they're actually pretty bright, as you can see from this guy flashing over here. Like during the day, forget about it. You know, bright sunlight and LED is never going to overpower it. But at night, like, these are really bright. You can see them super far away. This Night Rider-ish mode is that, but yeah, I think this is my favorite method for just riding around in general visibility. Super bright, can see them from super far away. The same kind of brightness as like daytime running lights on a car, or like the rear lights on a car, let me say. Now the white light on the front is obviously designed so people can see you. You know, it's not designed to illuminate the road or anything, so, you know, get your expectations in check. With a 600 milliamp hour battery, they say you're good for 10 hours of lights on riding, which, you know, even if you live, you know, 30 miles away from work and you're in British winter, morning and nighttime is both dark, this should get you through a week of commuting, no problem. One other setting they have an ambient light sensor, so it's supposed to detect when it's getting dark and detect when it's bright, and so in bright conditions the lights will go off to save you power, and when it gets dark the lights come on, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about flicking it on and off all the time. In my experience, it goes off fine. You know, in bright weather it won't come on, but also in my opinion, it waits a bit too long to turn on at night. When I ride with it, you know, it's dusk, the street lights are all just starting to come on, most of the cars are starting to turn on the headlights, and the helmet still thinks, nah, I'm good, you know, I'll keep my light off for a bit longer. So in my opinion, this auto on level could do with a bit of tweaking, but it's not a huge issue because in the app you can override the feature and turn off the auto brightness and just have it set to be on regardless, and then you can just simply use the button on the back of the helmet to turn it on or off and to change the method. So yeah, hold it down and it turns off, hold it down and it turns on. So yeah, super easy. One other feature that does work and I think does make your life easier is the like smart on, smart off feature. And so the idea with that is you just leave it on all the time, and when the helmet detects no movements in the accelerometers, it'll go to sleep by itself. And then when you pick it up and you put it on and you start riding, it'll turn on as well. In my experience, this works no problem. I think they said it's supposed to turn off in like 4 seconds. It definitely doesn't do it that quick, but in my experience, it goes to sleep in about a minute or so of being on the table. But turning on is instantaneous, like as soon as you pick it up, when it's in sleep mode, as soon as you pick it up, it turns back on and no problem. So again, if you're too lazy to press a button, that's a cool feature. But if you can't wait for it to go to sleep, then just turn it off with the button. Now, so with all this tech in a helmet, some people are going to assume it's going to weigh a ton. It's actually just 350 grams, which, to give you an idea of relevance, I think my Specialized Evade aero helmet also weighs upwards of 300 grams. And so, yeah, you don't notice it, you don't put it on and think it's a particularly heavy helmet. You don't get a sore neck or anything like that. And yeah, like the batteries and all the electronics are built in super nicely. It's not even, it's not in your face or there's wires hanging or anything. It's all done really nice and sleek. And yeah, I think design is definitely something they've got right. The charging port is located at the back. So yeah, you just open up the port. Obviously the port's there to keep out the rain. Okay, that's the power switch, that's the port, yeah. Open the port and then use your magnetic charging cable that it provides to charge it. Speaking of the cover is there because this is IPX5 waterproof. You can ride in any weather, no problems. Don't have to worry about the electronics getting messed up. So I just mentioned it's not a heavy helmet, but is it a comfortable helmet? Yeah, so this is the L or XL version because I have a very, very long and thin head. And yeah, the adjustability is enough so the back moves up and down and can also tighten and close. And obviously you got adjustable chin straps or whatever. Don't I look like a doofus inside? But yeah, fits my head really nicely. Lengthwise, it's going to hit the floor before your face hits the floor, and the back's going to hit the floor before the back of your head hits the floor, and the same with the sides. If I'm super nitpicky about the shape and the size of it, I'd say it runs a little bit too close to my ears. Like if the helmet's slightly wonky, it'll touch my ear, which is annoying, but hey, I guess that's just a good way to remind me to keep the helmet straight. And I do have these big ass goofy ears, so hey, maybe it's not the helmet's fault. In summer, ventilation, so looking at the top, there's not a huge bunch of vents. There's 10 vents on this in total, but the vents on the front and then the large vents on the back to suck it out. Like I've been riding this in like 35-degree humid Xiamen heat, and yeah, I've not noticed myself getting hotter than I would with any other helmet. Not as cool as an all-out climbing helmet, but the same kind of levels of cooling as any aero helmet would give you. And talking of the design, talking of the aesthetics, what do you guys think? Like, I think it's a pretty good looking helmet. This is the two-tone snow version, white on the top and gray at the bottom. There are 4 different colors to choose from. The design itself was done by a Spanish design house called Ruma Design. Their clients include Ferrari and Seat, so I guess they know a thing or two about design. But yeah, I think it's an easy on the eyes helmet. Lots of these like smart helmets or helmets with lights built in look so goofy and just like a helmet had an affair with a light bulb or something. But yeah, no, this guy's a pretty sleek looking helmet, but of course that's up to you to judge. As I said, 4 different colors to choose from, 2 different sizes. So they sent me over this snow white version. I also have a cool purple one they call ultraviolet. That's pretty dope too. But of course, we're talking about helmets. The most important thing is, how does this protect your head? And that was the first question I asked Livall. I was like, okay, the tech's dope and all, but like, does it protect my head? And so they were very quick to send over a bunch of videos of the testing they do. I need to go back to my notes here to tell you what standards it hits. Yeah, they tested various international standards, including CPSC and then CEEN European standards, and also the AS and NZS, like Australian, New Zealand standards, which are apparently all very strict standards, and it meets those, passes those, so sounds good to me. Of course, what we all want to know is the price. This is China Cycling. We like to do things on a budget. The standard full retail price for this is $129 US, which I think is a bit of a bargain. It's cheaper than your Specialized Evades or your Casque Protones or other high-end helmets, and this one is crammed with tech. However, the helmet just launched, and the reason why I'm trying to get this video done as quickly as I can is because they've just launched an Indiegogo too. And on Indiegogo, there are some deals to get your hands on one of these a little bit cheaper. I checked just, and it launched like yesterday, and some of them have already been snapped up. So quickly, link in the description below, head on over to Indiegogo and see what's left. I think the lowest one I saw was like $79 US, including worldwide shipping. So yeah, I think it's a no-brainer, if you excuse the pun. So in summary, yeah, I like this helmet. I'm digging this helmet. After my accident while commuting in 2019, I've really started to pay attention more to safety, especially when commuting. And I think the EVO21 is a slick design, and I genuinely believe the lights keep you safer riding at night as well. The SOS function is an extra peace of mind for both me and for my wife, and the helmet is comfortable to wear and well ventilated. For the negatives, like I say, the auto brightness adjustment seems to be a little off, and the auto brake light is hit and miss, but neither of these are deal breakers for me because you can just turn off the auto brightness adjuster in the app anyway. And so yeah, that about sums up this video. Like I say, I saw these guys at the Shanghai Bike Show and originally dismissed it as a bit of a goofy idea, but then the more I thought about it, the more it kind of made sense. Now Livall did send me a couple of these helmets out to try, but I've not been paid a penny to make this video. I get no kickbacks, I get no commission. Everything here is just my own opinion, and I'm gonna keep wearing mine for commutes for real. So please, 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 if you like this honest, unsponsored stuff, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments down below what helmet you're using and whether you think this is a good idea or not. If you want to know more, check out the links in the description down below. And okay then, China Cycling out.